Welcome, business owners. So let's say you have your own business or even a side hustle like Uber, Lyft. Maybe you're selling lemonade. Well, you need to keep track of your income and expenses because your expenses will help reduce your tax liability and get you more deductions. So let's give an example. Let's say you have a $100,000 lemonade business. So you've generated $100,000 in sales. Now, you have to pay your employees $10,000. You have to pay for supplies like lemons, another $10,000. Let's say you have to pay $10,000 for rent because sidewalks can be expensive. Now, let's add another $10,000 in legal expenses to set up your company and pay sales tax and whatnot. So your total expenses are $40,000. So your net profit, 100K minus 40K is 60K. That's how much you made after all your expenses. Those expenses are all possible business tax deductions that can save you money. So if your tax rate was 24%, you would save 40,000 times 0.24, meaning $9,600 in taxes. That's how much you have saved by recording accurately all of your expenses. Now, what are all the expenses that you can record? Well, you can kind of claim anything related to your business that helps you in your business. Well, if you look at Schedule C, which is one of the business tax forms, some expenses are advertising, car and truck expenses, commission and fees, contract labor, depletion, depreciation, benefit programs, insurance, interest, mortgage, legal and professional services, office expenses, rent, taxes, deductible meals, wages, utilities. So a lot of things, and then even other expenses as well. So basically anything that you use to help your business grow and maintain your business can be claimed as a deduction to decrease your tax liability. You can use accounting software like QuickBooks, link in the description below, or manually keep up with the expenses using Google Sheets if it's not too complicated. For example, in the description link below, you can see the template for Schedule C expenses and deductions. So make a copy of the document and then you can start recording your expenses. So let's say on January 1st of 2022, you had an expense for setting up your company. So you can click the categories, which conveniently drop down menu here, and then you select the category. So this would be legal expenses. And then the expense was $40,000. Let's just say. Then you can go to categories and you can see all your totals. So the legal and professional services, $40,000. Then that's what you can put on the Schedule C. And then you can do that for all your expenses. Make sure to keep records of your bank statements, credit card statements, receipts, so that you have a record in case the IRS asks for more information after you submit your tax return. But this way you can record everything and accurately know how much you should pay in taxes. So my suggestion would be to, keep track of expenses as they happen, maybe on a weekly basis, a monthly basis, not at the very end right before the tax deadline, because that's super stressful. So don't do that. Moreover, you can even deduct miles for business. So if you drive your car to deliver supplies or get supplies, you can record that and get a bigger tax deduction. And if you want to learn how, I suggest clicking on the video here and watching that. Another thing is that you can deduct business meals. So in 2021 and 2022, restaurant business meals are 100% deductible. Usually they're only 50% deductible, but because of COVID, to help restaurants, Congress let it be 100% deductible. For example, if you discuss business with a potential client at a restaurant, you can claim the business meal as a tax deduction and help lower your tax liability. Just make sure to keep a record of the receipt and write down what business you discussed at the meeting so you have adequate records. The business meal has to be a reasonable business expense, so it has to be ordinary and necessary, and a $5,000 steak dinner is not ordinary or necessary, and that would not be a tax deduction. So just use some common sense. I've only given a basic overview here, so if you have specific questions, make sure to ask your own tax advisor. And if you are running out of time, maybe consider filing an extension so that way you can find all of your business expenses and deductions. Just know that you still have to pay an estimated tax payment, but this way you can keep on looking for business deductions and pay less tax eventually, and pay less tax when you finally submit your tax return after the extension. And you can amend previous And you can even amend previous tax returns for the past 3 years if you need to correct any mistakes or claim any deductions you forgot about in the past. So just make sure, record your expenses, record all of them, think outside the box. So remember to keep adequate records and keep track of your expenses. Every expense will lower your tax liability. Also, if it's around the end of the year and you need to buy some things, instead of waiting until next year to buy them now so that you can claim the tax deduction now and get the savings now and pay less tax now. So you have a $5,000 purchase in January, see if you can move it to December and claim the tax deduction now and pay less tax now. It's kind of like an interest-free loan if you think about it. So business owners, you have a lot of deductions that you can do. There's even a home office deduction that you can apply for. So if you use part of your home for your business, maybe a room or something, you can claim that as a tax deduction as well. It can kind of get complicated, so I included a link in the description below so that you can read more about it. I also might do a video later on it. Look out for that. Hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully you saved a lot of money on taxes. Hopefully you're not doing everything last minute and that you keep adequate records throughout the tax year, not just at the very end. Moreover, it might be helpful to have a separate bank account or a separate credit card so that you can distinguish between personal and business expenses and make your accounting life easier. Just some tips. This is all educational. If you have specific questions, make sure to ask your tax advisor. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment below what you think.